Okay, my loves. Thank you so much. As always, sending you guys peace, blessings, love, and abundance. It got interrupted because my sister called in on WhatsApp to let me know that my father was okay because I could tell he rushed out of the house, and so I just wanted to check on him. Now, getting back into the devil card, like I said, people look at it as a negative connotation, but again, that's because people look at Saturn as a negative planet. They also look at Mars as a negative planet, but remember, everything has its positives and has its negatives, all right? So, the negative side to this is addiction. And so what I was talking about, as well as lack of self-control, all right, and lack of taking responsibility for self. And those are the gifts that Saturn teaches us. So with the North Node being in Cancer and the South Node being in Capricorn, the way the nodes work is it's dealing with your shadow self. It's dealing with all of the things that we keep in the darkness that we don't bring to light. That's our gifts, and that's also our quote-unquote curses or generational curses, which what I was saying is that your generational curses is actually the information that's been encoded in your DNA that's been passed on from generation to generation, like addiction of alcohol, addiction of drugs, like overeating, which causes causes for obesity, like eating sugar, too much excess of sugar, which causes diabetes. So it's all of these imbalances that our parents had in their chakras and their parents had in their chakras, and so on and so forth, that they have passed on to us. Okay, so that's literally what a generational curse is, because if you think of the word generational, it has what gene in it. It has the word gene, so it's speaking about your genes. All right, and it has Ra. That's the genes of Ra. All right, and so in order for us to transmute and change that, we have to take the actions, and so we have to tap into our positive side of Saturn. And the positive side of Saturn is taming and conquering your addictions. It's literally like you see how there are chains on the lower nature. It is taking control of your lower nature, because the way that we've been living with Capricorn in our south node, we've allowed our lower nature, our lower self, our ego, or our persona, whatever you want to call it, take the reins in the way that we live our lives. And so because of doing that, we've allowed a lot of negative things to continue to be repeated on and on and on and over again. So in order for us to finally break those curses and break the chains is where we are right now, with the Cancer being in the North Node. Cancer is the solution and the answer to the negative addictions and the lack of self-control and the not taking responsibility for our actions that's in Capricorn. The answer to changing that is in Cancer, and that is in eating healthy. That is in nurturing yourself through self-care and self-love. So that's through the affirmations and speaking love into your cells, transmuting the negative ways that our ancestors, which are our parents and their parents, talked about themselves. It's also taking stop suppressing speaking our truth, speaking from our God box. Is also suppressing our solar plexus, which is our liver, with alcohol. So allowing ourselves to shine by speaking self-confidence. That's what the affirmations do. It actually helps you be confident enough to go after your dreams, you know what I'm saying, and live your best life. So that's what Cancer is helping us do, is helping us to elevate the higher qualities in Capricorn, which is the self-control of our lower nature, which is the self-control of ourself, and taking responsibility for ourself, and taking control over the things that we want to have happen in our lives, you know what I'm saying, and allowing the 10th house, the house of ambition and the house of career, to actually shine. Think about the natal chart. In your natal chart, house 8 is Scorpio. It's ruled by Scorpio and it's ruled by Pluto. And that is the house of getting into your fears, getting into the deepest, darkest parts of your mind and tapping into it. That's the house of the fucking afterlife. You know what I'm saying? That's the house of Anubis. That's the house of going into the underworld, going into your subconscious mind, finding out your insecurities, finding out the things that you need to work on and you need to transmute, so that when you can go into your 9th house of Sagittarius with higher knowledge of self. You see what I'm saying? And then once you have higher knowledge of self, you can go into your 10th house, and you can make your career and your ambitions, you can make your dreams come true. All right, so this is making our dreams come true, is what this is speaking of. So that's what that partial lunar eclipse in Capricorn is going to do. It's going to make that happen, and also the full moon, because the full moon and the partial lunar eclipse are occurring at the same time, and of course that's in Capricorn. So that Capricorn is about that self-control, it's about ambition, and it's also about rewards. So now, because we have exhibited self-control, we now have control of our addictions and got that under wraps and everything. Now we're able to reap the benefits, the awards that come from that. And like I said, I'm in my Saturn cycle, so I am learning so much about myself and so much really truly about the chakras, a deeper understanding to what the chakras actually are. And I'm not going to get into that in this video, because like I said, I do want to go ahead and send that loving energy up to my aunt right now. And the other thing that I want to talk about besides the reading is a little bit about the mirroring of the chakras. So I've studied exoteric astrology, and exo is like an exoskeleton, so it's the outside. It's the persona, it's the ego, it's speaking to the physical realm. That's really what exoteric astrology is about, and that's what most astrologists focus on. They don't get into the soul, the esoteric, which is that hidden light. They don't get into the hidden light of your star chart, and that's what really interests me. Both of them interest me because they both work together, but I had to start to learn the exoteric before I can start to actually delve into the hidden light. And what I learned is how each of the chakras mirror each other. I remember my nephew telling me, I think back in March, when he was on this riding really high in his spiritual journey. That was one of his peaks. And he's a Pisces moon, so it actually makes a whole lot of sense that the Pisces season, he was tapping a lot into his spirituality. And so he was like, Auntie, my spirit was telling me the chakras are a mirror. And what he said, I was like, oh, that makes a whole lot of sense. So now it's actually come back to me, and it's Cancer season. Cancer is my ascendant sign, so that's really my soul. That's all my soul gifts, and that's really my light. My light shines really brightly when I'm tapping into the gifts of Cancer. And so it just makes sense that I get an understanding of that, and it resonates with me right now at this very moment. So I'm going to go ahead and break down the mirrors, all right? So your root chakra opens from the bottom, and your root chakra is associated with the prostate for the man, or the male genitalia, so the phallus, and it's associated with the vagina, or the lotus flower of the woman, which is also your fallopian tubes and everything, which is shaped like Aries and which is tied to Mars. And the mirror of your root chakra is the crown chakra. All right. If you were to take the triangle, which is the representing the masculine energy, because the upright triangle is the masculine, and the downward, which actually matches, because if you look at the genitalia area, is triangular. It's like an upside down triangle. If you were to fold and make a sandwich out of those two, then you would see which ones are touching each other, which points are touching each other. The root chakra will be touching Kether, the crown. And so the root chakra represents Malkuth, all right? The root chakra is a direct mirror of Kether, or a direct mirror of your crown chakra, all right? Now moving up, your sacral chakra, which is the water, also is tied to the navel. Your navel, your belly button, is an eye, all right? It's the eye of your sacral chakra, which is where your intuition lies. That is a mirror to your sixth chakra, which is your third eye chakra, all right? And your solar plexus chakra, and your sacral chakra is tied to your stomach. If you don't know, now you know. It's tied to your stomach, and that's the water, which is also tied to the moon, and it's mirrored to your third eye chakra, all right? Now, your solar plexus chakra, which your liver is under your right breast. It goes from your right breast underneath to the left, but it also goes downward, right? That is tied to your solar plexus, and it is mirrored through your God box, or your throat chakra, all right? You speaking your truth. So that's why a lot of people who suppress their throat chakra are going to have solar plexus issues and have an imbalance in their solar plexus, because they're not self-confident enough to speak their truth. So you have to work on your self-confidence in order for you to allow your God box to speak your truth. All right. So those are the mirrors. And then your heart chakra sits in the center. So when you fold those together and it becomes a 6-pointed star, there's going to be a dot in the middle, and that dot represents your heart chakra, and that is the house, the home of your soul. So all of that just started to make sense to me when I was down at the park and I was walking with nature and I was touching the trees and I was allowing insects to crawl on my hands and on me. I was like, wow. It is so beautiful when it all starts to come together, when the puzzle pieces start to fit. But yeah, that's the information I wanted to share with you guys. Just a quick breakdown of those 7 chakras, and why it's a 6-pointed star is because the 7th chakra, which is really your 4th chakra, is sitting in the center. That's the home, and then also that number 4, the heart chakra being the 4th chakra, ties into the four base elements that make up, the human body, which is ACTG, and I talked about that in other videos, and also ties into your 8 primordial cells, because if you times that by 2, you're going to get the number 8, and that also ties to the number of Christ, because the number of Christ is double the number 4. You know what I'm saying? That is when you reach your highest vibration of your, vibrational self, and your heart is vibrating totally at a frequency of love, So yeah, but that's all I really wanted to share with you guys, that information, to give you this quick read of the type of energy that is going on with this partial lunar eclipse and this full moon coming up in Capricorn. I normally don't do readings this fast for any type of celestial events. Remember, the celestial events are happening on the inside as well. However, my spirit gave me this information, so I went ahead and shared it early. The partial eclipse is actually not until I think it falls on a Tuesday. All this energy is occurring on, not all, but the new moon and the full moon and the partial lunar eclipse and the total solar eclipse are all occurring on Tuesday. So you know that the Mars energy is very, very prevalent. I did a video talking about how it's vital for you to pay attention to the days of the week that these events are occurring on, because if it's occurring on a Tuesday, that is speaking to like passion. So it's speaking to us actually living our passion and tapping into our passion. So that's why it's important that you get your solar plexus in good working order, and your throat chakra in good working order, your God box. And that actually just came to me because and also your root chakra too, because you need to be secure in the information. You need to be secure in yourself. But you definitely need your solar plexus so you can have the self-esteem and the confidence in order to speak your mind. And it's crazy because I spoke to how I'm on a liver detox and a liver cleanse because I needed to balance my liver. I needed to balance my solar plexus, because the solar plexus chakra, the crystallized form of that is your liver. All of your organs, and I'm not going to get into all of the deets of it because Spirit has told me that it's giving me more information on that before I share it. But all of your organs are crystallized. It's crystallized light. It is the densest form of the light chakra, of that solar wheel. That's what your chakras are. Your chakras are your organs, and your organs are your chakras. However, vibrating at your light bodies, it is actually the vibration of light. But for some people, it's vibrating so slow and so sluggish because the emotions and the energy that we have in those chakras is a whole bunch of toxic shit. It's a whole bunch of trauma and shit. But like I said, I'm going to end the video on that note, guys. I really appreciate you guys for tuning in to my channel. As always, I'm sending you guys out love and light and peace into the ether. You can subscribe to my channel by clicking on the button in the video. You can also follow me on my social medias. I have my links to Instagram and Facebook at the bottom. And I also have my love donations that I'm open to receiving. You can send that through my Cash App or my PayPal. And like I said, I definitely appreciate you guys so much. Peace, guys. Have a beautiful Sunday.